Om Gam Ganapatye Namaha. Kaliyugada Kalpataru. The Fifth Delight. Shri Raghavendra Guru Sarvabhouma. Chapter 42. Moments of Marital Bliss. With Venkatanatha's sister-in-law, Venkatamba and Kamala Devi along with their children having left for their hometown, Saraswati felt a deep sense of longing. She had been so accustomed to their living company, their constant laughter, and affectionate conversations that time had passed without her noticing. Now, in their absence, an unusual solitude enveloped her. Her heart longed for love and companionship, and though she yearned for her husband's presence, her natural shyness restrained her. Gopamma, being keenly perceptive, noticed Saraswati's silent earrings of Venkatanatha's closeness and conversation. Wanting to create opportunities for the young couple to share moments of happiness, she often found playful excuses to leave them alone together. One afternoon, seeing Saraswati sitting ideal in her room, Gopamma smiled knowingly and said, "Saraswati, they are narrating a Purana at the temple. Savitramma and Ramabai have been insisting that you should join them for the past 3 days. I am going there now. I have already prepared milk and fruits. Give them to Venkatanatha and take care of the house." Without waiting for a reply, she left with a mischievous smile. Saraswati immediately understood the loving intent behind her mother-in-law's words. Seeing her deep concern and generosity, tears welled up in her eyes. "How fortunate I am! Even my own mother did not shower me with such love," she thought. Overcome with joy and gratitude, she gathered the milk, fruits, and bitter leaves and stepped into her husband's room. Her heart danced like a peacock in the rain. Filled with excitement and anticipation, Venkatanatha was reclining on a cot, seemingly asleep, a serene smile adoring his face. Placing the milk and fruits carefully on a nearby seat, Saraswati gazed at him. The warmth of the summer sun had left tiny beads of sweat glistening on his forehead. She sat beside him, leaned forward, and gently wiped away the sweat with her soft veil. Venkatanatha, who had been feigning sleep, suddenly shifted, causing his arm to brush against Saraswati's back. A shiver ran through her, and her face flushed crimson with shyness. Slowly, he opened his eyes and whispered her name with affectionate warmth, "Sarasa." That single utterance of her name was soaked in love, stirring waves of joy in her heart. Realizing that her husband had only pretended to be asleep, she cast a sidelong glance at him in playful reproach and softly said, "Mother has sent milk and fruits for you. Please have them." Smiling, Venkatanatha looked at her with tender mischief and said, "Sarasa, you must feed me the fruit and make me drink the milk yourself." "Saraswati, Swami, why are you being stubborn like a child?" Venkatanatha: "So, if we are not children, does that mean we are old men?" Saraswati, blushing: "Neither children nor old men." Venkatanatha: "Then, does that mean you consider me a young man?" Saraswati, playfully frowning: "Why do you enjoy teasing me so much?" Venkatanatha, laughing: "Isn't it the right age for it? Shouldn't one behave according to their stage in life?" Saraswati, embarrassed: "Swami, I don't understand what you mean. Who said certain behaviors are required at a particular age?" Venkatanatha: "Sarasa, haven't you read the Raghavendra?" Saraswati: "Yes, I have read it." Venkatanatha, smiling mischievously: "Then recite the verse where Kalidasa explains the duties of the 4 stages of life." Saraswati, feeling shy, began reciting, but then bit her lips and fell silent. Venkatanatha: "Ah, wait a moment. In childhood, one must learn and acquire knowledge. That we have done. What comes next?" Saraswati, blushing, cast a sidelong glance at him and softly continued, "In youth, one should engage in worldly pleasures," then quickly lowered her head. Venkatanatha: "Now, that's correct. Isn't it our duty to follow Kalidasa's teachings? Do you now understand why I was teasing you?" Saraswati, overwhelmed by a mix of shyness and love, felt a rush of happiness. She gently fed him fruits, offered him milk, and handed him betel leaves. Venkatanatha, smiling with joy, reciprocated by offering her fruits, milk, and betel leaves. Saraswati, giggling softly, asked, "Are you satisfied now?" Venkatanatha, "Oh, beyond satisfied, completely blissful." Saraswati, "Swami, they say that a wish made in a moment of happiness is instantly fulfilled. Is that true?" Venkatanatha, "Yes, absolutely true." Saraswati, "Then will my beloved grant the request of his humble servant with joy?" Venkatanatha, cheerfully, "Isn't that why I am here? Tell me, what do you wish for?" Saraswati, "Then give me your word that you will fulfill my request." Venkatanatha, laughing, placing his hand on hers, "I promise, I will grant your wish. Now tell me what it is." Saraswati, "Swami, the whole world praises you as Sakala Kalavallabha and as the emperor of Veena music. But despite being the wife of such a master, I have never had the fortune of hearing your Veena. Is this fair?" Venkatanatha, "So you mean to say that you have never heard my Veena before?" Saraswati, "No, Swami, I have never had the privilege." Venkatanatha, in a teasing voice, "Oh Sarasa, why do you lie?" Saraswati, pouting playfully, "Swami, am I the kind of woman who would lie to you?" Venkatanatha, smiling, "Oh, even when you get upset, you look so beautiful." Saras, by thinking again, "Haven't you heard my Veena at least once?" Saraswati, reminiscing, then smiled, "True, Swami, I did hear it once, but only for a moment." Venkatanatha, "Ah, now you are on the right track. Tell me, when did you hear? Let's see if you remember correctly." Saraswati, blushing, "Oh Swami, you always find ways to tease me." Venkatanatha, stubbornly, like a playful child, No, tell me, Saras, tell me." Saraswati, glancing at him shyly, "I feel embarrassed. How can I say it?" Venkatanatha, "Why be shy about telling me when you heard it?" Saraswati, lowering her head, "The situation was such that I feel shy to say it out loud." Venkatanatha, "But who else is here? It's just the two of us. Don't be shy, tell me." Saraswati, blushing, lowering her head, "Must I say it? Listen then. That day the elders had gone out. At home it was just Amba, Akka and me. You returned from outside and went to your room. Amba then said, 'Saraswati, your husband has come. Go give him milk, fruit and tambula.' I stood still, too shy to move. Akka laughed and asked, 'Why are you feeling so shy, silly girl?' I replied, 'What should I do, Akka? I feel shy and scared to go to him.' Amba laughed and said, 'Oh foolish girl, if you keep acting like this, how will you manage your household in the future? Kamala, bring the milk and fruit. I will give it to him myself.' Then she looked at me and smiled. I quickly gathered courage and said, 'Why trouble yourself, Amba? I'll take it myself.' So Akka brought the silver tray with the milk and fruit, and I took it in my hands. Seeing me hesitate, she held my hand and led me all the way to your door before silently signaling me to enter, then turned back. I was standing at the threshold, filled with a mix of shyness, anticipation, joy, and hesitation, unsure of what to do. Just then, the sound of your veena filled the air. That sweet melody sent shivers through me. I had heard so much about your mastery of the veena, and I longed to experience it myself. I wanted to step inside, but instead I stood frozen at the doorway. You began playing an Ashtapadi of Jayadeva. The moment I heard it, my heart overflowed with bliss. But as I stood there, I noticed Akka approaching. Startled, I quickly stepped inside. Just then, you stopped playing and lay down on the bed as if asleep. I saw you pretending, and a part of me wanted to laugh, while other part was filled with shyness. Yet I walked up to your bedside and stood there. Suddenly, you opened your eyes as if just waking up and said, 'Oh Saraswati, when did you come?' I smiled shyly and lowered my head. Venkatanatha, laughing, 'All right, what happened next?' Saraswati, covering her face with her hands, 'Must you make me say everything myself?' Venkatanatha, holding her hand gently, 'Ah, Saras, you narrate it so beautifully. Tell me what happened next.' Saraswati, smiling shyly, you held my hand and made me sit beside you, then asked, 'Oh, you brought fruit and milk. You took the fruit, ate it, drank the milk, and chewed the tambula, all the while looking at me lovingly and gently stroking my head. Just then, Akka entered the room, saw us, and smiling mischievously stepped back. Embarrassed, I pulled my hand away from yours and ran out of the room. Oh Swami, after that, how shy I felt whenever I faced Amba and Akka. Do you know how embarrassed I was? Saying this, Saraswati shyly glanced at her husband and covered her face with her hands. Venkatanatha, why are you so blushing now over something that happened so long ago? Saraswati, Swami, even today, the memory of that moment sent shivers through me. Venkatanatha, is that so? Tell me, what was the playing on the veena that day? Saraswati, smiling, wasn't it Jayadeva's Ashtapadi? Swami, Venkatanatha, pretending ignorance. Which Ashtapadi? Saraswati, oh, you enjoy teasing me. While I struggle with embarrassment, why must I say everything? You were playing Parvisharade on the veena. Venkatanatha, so you remember it all so clearly. Saraswati, that's fine, Swami, but tell me, why did you choose that particular Ashtapadi? And why did you stop playing so suddenly? Venkatanatha, because the moment demanded it. Saraswati, chuckling, what kind of movement was that, Swami? Venkatanatha, oh, that scene is still vivid in my mind. You are walking gracefully, carrying a silver cup of milk in one hand and a plate of fruits and beetle leaves in the other, swaying ever so slightly with each step. It was so mesmerizing that it sent shivers down my spine. You looked just like Radha approaching Madhava. But then you stopped at the doorway, hesitant. That's when Jayadeva's Ashtapadi came to my mind. I realized you wouldn't enter unless I invited you, so I played Parvisharade on the veena, calling you in, and it worked. You blushed, smiled, and stepped inside. My intention was fulfilled, so I stopped playing. Saraswati's heart swelled with joy at his words. She felt a deep, tender happiness spread throughout her. Yet pretending to be annoyed, she pouted. Saraswati, men cannot be trusted. You knew everything. Yet you never once mentioned it to me until now. So all your actions that day, were they all just an act? Venkatanatha, holding her hand gently, don't be upset, my dearest. Some moments are best preserved as silent treasures. That's what makes them precious. Saraswati, tell me truly, Swami, how did you know I would come that day? Venkatanatha, oh, how could I not? I had overheard Akka and Amba teasing you and sending you in with the milk and fruit. Did you think I was so naive as to not expect you? Saraswati, you always pretend to be so clever. So in the end, it was only my innocence that was on display that day, wasn't it? Fine, let that be. But tell me, Swami, how could that fleeting moment of hearing your veena be enough for me? Looking at him intently, she leaned forward slightly, her voice turning soft yet firm. Saraswati, don't forget your word. You promised. Will you play the veena for me or not? Venkatanatha, don't be upset, my delicate one. I will play the veena for as long as it takes to satisfy you, but on one condition. Saraswati, excitedly, what condition, Swami, tell me? Venkatanatha, I will play the veena, but you must sing. Saraswati, smiling mischievously, quoting a Sanskrit verse. A parrot may try to cross the ocean, but it truly reaches the shore. Venkatanatha, laughing, replying with another verse. A firefly may glow, but does it shine brighter than the sun? Saraswati, grinning. How can I ever defeat you in words, Swami? Venkatanatha, then how do you plan to defeat me? Saraswati, blushing. Oh, Swami, you are always teasing me. Venkatanatha, tell me, Saras, will you sing or not? If you truly wish to hear my veena, you must sing. Saraswati, you are my lord. How can I disobey? I will sing, but on one condition, you must not laugh at my singing. Venkatanatha agreed, as my beloved wishes. Now, bring me the veena. Saraswati's heart filled with boundless joy. She rushed to bring the veena and placed it before her husband with reverence. Venkatanatha, Saraswati, let's begin. As his fingers gently touched the string, a wave of divine music filled the room. The enchanting melody sent shivers through Saraswati's body. Her heart swelled with devotion and love. Venkatanatha played a line from Jayadeva's Ashtapadi. As the melody unfolded, Saraswati's face turned crimson with emotion. The music seemed to speak to her soul. He played the line again and smiled at her. Venkatanatha, come Saras, sing. Saraswati gazed at him with deep affection. Her voice trembled at first, but then she surrendered herself to the melody and began to sing. Her voice, tender yet rich, intertwined with the Veena's divine notes, their music, like their love, became one, pure, harmonious, and eternal. Saraswati's sweet and melodious voice flowed like a divine stream. At that moment, Venkatanatha fully realized her expertise in music. Overjoyed, he played the Veena with scholarly precision. Though hesitant at first, Saraswati gained confidence with her husband's encouragement, following his music as she sang along. At times, Venkatanatha played while Saraswati sang, their performance merging into a seamless harmony. The divine resonance of the Veena intertwined with Saraswati's enchanting voice, as if the celestial realm had descended upon them, immersed in the world of devotion and music. They lost all sense of time. After a while, Venkatanatha gently halted his Veena and said, "That's enough for today, Saras. Tomorrow I will play for as long as you desire." Saraswati placed the Veena aside, bowed her head at her husband's feet, and said with tearful joy, "My beloved, you are truly the emperor of Veena music. I have never heard such divine melody in my life. My very existence feels fulfilled today." Venkatanatha tenderly lifted her, brushing her curls, as he said, "Saras, your singing has brought me immense bliss. You are a remarkable singer, a true artist. If you dedicate yourself to practice, none will match your prowess." Glowing with pride from her husband's praise, Saraswati smiled. Then, realizing the time, she said, "Swami, it is almost time for Atte's return. Tomorrow, you must delight me with your Veena once more." Venkatanatha chuckled, "And you must quench my soul with your song." Saraswati blushed, responding with a playful smile, "As you command," before gracefully stepping out of his chamber. Later, as Gopikamba Devi had left for the Purana recitation, Saraswati reappeared before her husband with a tray of milk and fruits. Venkatanatha, observed in reading a text, placed it aside and said, "Come, Saraswati." Tilting her head playfully, she asked, "Shall I bring the Veena?" Venkatanatha smiled. "Let us talk for a while first, then the Veena." Saraswati, "What shall we talk about?" Venkatanatha, "Is there ever a shortage of topics to discuss?" Saraswati, "You can spend the whole day debating meanings of words, but I'm just a simple woman. How can I match your intellect?" Venkatanatha, "Did I ever ask you to debate meanings? Our Ramachandra Acharya praised you as a scholar in music and literature. I have now witnessed your musical talent, but let me see how well versed you are in literature. What have you studied?" Saraswati, "My father taught me the foundational lessons in my childhood. Later, my mother was my guru in poetry, drama, and rhetoric." Venkatanatha, surprised, "What, your mother? I had no idea Atte was so proficient in literature." Saraswati laughed. "My father was so impressed by mother's knowledge of poetry and music that he chose her as his wife." Venkatanatha, "After your early lessons, what did you study next?" Saraswati, "Kaumudi, Raghuvamsha, Kumarasambhava, Kirtarjuna, parts of Champu, Ramayana and Mahabharata, Vrittara Ratnakara, some portions of Nishada and Gita Govinda, Dashakumara Charitra, Kadambari, up to the tale of Mahasweta, Pratrapuridrya, Nathaka, Chandraloka, and dramas like Ratnavali, Malavika Jnanamitra, and Shakuntala. By then, my marriage was arranged, and my studies came to a halt." Venkatanatha, That's quite an extensive study in literature." Saraswati, smiling, "Swami, I wish to test you a little." Venkatanatha, "Oh, if Saraswati herself sets a test, what fates awaits me?" Saraswati, "Oh no, I have no qualification to test you. I only wish to admire your brilliance." Venkatanatha, laughing, "I'm delighted. Let the test begin." Saraswati chanted a verse. What is the verb in this verse?" Venkatanatha, chuckling, "Saras, you are quite clever. Repeat the first half of the verse one more time." Saraswati repeats, Venkatanatha, you just answered your own question. The verb is right here. Saraswati, amazed. When did I say the answer, Swami? Venkatanatha, did you say the word just now? Saraswati, I thought I was clever for rearranging the words in the prose form, but you are a true brilliant. You asked me to recite the verse, and in doing so you found the verb. How foolish of me. I completely forgot that you are a master of grammar. Venkatanatha, now it is my turn. I'll pose a question in verse. The answer is hidden within it. You must find it. Saraswati, all right. I will try my best. Venkatanatha narrated the verse. Saraswati, laughing. A person with a blanket does not suffer from the cloud. That was the verse. Venkatanatha, excellent Saras, you are truly intelligent. Saraswati, encouraged with the praise. Now answer this. Venkatanatha, those engaged in cultivating fields. Here's the verb. Saraswati, in awe, Swami, swallowing this seems as easy as drinking water for you. Venkatanatha, Saraswati, when I was just 5 or 6 years old, I had already memorized hundreds of such verses and witty riddles. Saraswati, now tell me, pose another verse, answer it correctly. Here, analyze the imperative, vidhi, and prohibitive, nishida, aspect and explain the meaning. This verse is an example of slesha, that is double meaning. The first half is affirmative, vidipara, encouraging action, while the second half is negative, that is nishedapara, discouraging it. Let's see how well you interpret it. Venkatanatha, recognizing the cleverness of the word play, skillfully explained the dual meanings of the verse, demonstrating his profound mastery of Sanskrit and grammar and rhetoric. Venkatanatha, the affirmative meaning, vidipara artha. O great King Rajendra, worship bhaja, that which grants both prosperity and knowledge. Worship Lord Ganesha. This is the example of Sambhagashlesha, where the meanings remains affirmative. The probative meaning, Nishedapara, O King, do not, ma bhaja, consume tobacco leaves, as it brings ignorance. This is an example of Abhangashlesha, where the meaning shifts to a prohibition. Is this correct, my queen? Venkatanatha, question. Who is not affected by the cold? Answer. One who has a blanket is not affected by the cold. Question. Who is engaged in supporting their wife? Answer. One who cultivates his land properly will also take care of his wife. This is the beauty of Sanskrit wordplay in Samsara Sahitya. Saraswati, oh my, how quickly you answered. Venkatanatha, now it is my turn, Saraswati. I will give you a verse that contains 7 riddles. The first 6 questions must be answered individually. The middle letter of each answer will together form the answer to the 7th question. The real challenge lies in answering the first 6 correctly. Shall I proceed? Saraswati, it explained itself, is making me nervous, but go ahead. I will try to do my best. Venkatanatha narrated the verse. Saraswati, first let me interrupt the meaning. Who is the consort, Ardhanga of Rudra, who was lifted by the tusk of the boar incarnation Varaha, who sleeps in the ocean? What do valorous king gain in battle? What do both Lakshmi and Narayana not have? Who is the preceptor of the gods? Using the middle letter of each answer, which great sage Munindra is indicated? Am I correct, Swami? Venkatanatha, seeing Saraswati's profound grasp of literary riddles, was delighted. Venkatanatha, well done, Saraswati. Now, let me see if you can find the correct answer to each question. Saraswati, understanding the meaning was easier than finding the answer, but I will try. Venkatanatha, who is the consort, Ardhanga of Rudra? Saraswati, Parvati. Venkatanatha, no, not that. Saraswati, Bhavani. Venkatanatha, correct. Next, who was lifted by the tusk of Varaha? Saraswati, Dharani. Venkatanatha, no. Saraswati, wait. Medini. Venkatanatha, yes, that is right. Now, who sleeps in the ocean? Saraswati, Narayana. Venkatanatha, no. Saraswati, Vasudeva. Venkatanatha, not that either. It must be a 3-syllable name. Saraswati, Murari. Venkatanatha, well done. Now, what do various kings attain in battle? Saraswati, Vijaya, that is victory, isn't it, Swami? Venkatanatha, exactly. Now answer this question. What is absent in both Lakshmi and Narayana? Saraswati, Viyoga, that is separation. Venkatanatha, correct. And who is the preceptor of the gods? Saraswati, Bharaspati. Venkatanatha, no, it must be a 3-letter syllable. Saraswati, give me a moment. Think deeply. Vagisha. Venkatanatha, that is correct. Now take the middle syllables of each 6 answers and tell me the name they form. Saraswati, Bhavani, Vah. Medini, Di. Murari, Ra. Vijaya, Ja. Viyoga, Yo. Vagisha, Gi. If you arrange them together, they form Vadiraja Yogi, the revered saint, Sri Vadiraja Yogi. Am I correct, Swami? Venkatanatha, beaming with pride, Saraswati, you are truly brilliant. Many learned men would struggle to deduce this so quickly, but you solved it with ease. Saraswati, delighted. Without your guidance, how could I have figured it out? So tell me, Swami, did your wife win or lose in this test? Venkatanatha, laughing. Has Saraswati Devi ever been defeated? You have won gloriously. Saraswati, then give me a reward, she said playfully. As Venkatanatha reached out to pull her close by the shoulder, she gently slipped away, pretending to be annoyed. Saraswati, you are always mischievous, Swami, she said, feigning anger. Saraswati, this verse is so fascinating. After hearing that, I have a desire. Venkatanatha, what is it, Saraswati, I wish to repeat the play Shakuntala with you. Will you teach it to me, Swami? Venkatanatha, didn't you already study it with your mother? Saraswati, blushing. That's true, but when you narrate it, it has different charm, doesn't it? Venkatanatha, smiling gently, you wish to study a romantic play with your beloved husband. Saraswati, is that wrong, Swami? Venkatanatha, not at all. But why only Shakuntala? There are other great plays as well. Saraswati, but isn't Shakuntala the most celebrated? Among dramas, the most delightful is Shakuntala. Everyone says so. Venkatanatha, indeed, but there are other masterpieces filled with emotions and poetic beauty. Saraswati, which one do you suggest? Venkatanatha, why not Subhadra Paranaya? Saraswati, who is the author of that play? Venkatanatha, Saraswati, how could you not know? The very author is none other than Shri Sudhindra Tirtharu, our own revered family guru. Saraswati, astonished, really? I had no idea. But Swami, can a sannyasi compose a play rich in Shringara Rasa, that is romantic sentiment? Venkatanatha, read it and you shall see. You will soon understand what a beautifully crafted play it is, overflowing with varied emotions. Saraswati, when will you review it for me? Venkatanatha, it's almost time for Amma to return. Not today. Tomorrow we shall review it. Saraswati, I lost track of time when I am with you. Swami, I always wish to be near you. Venkatanatha, have I ever said no to that? Whatever pleases you, I accept. Saraswati, blushing, smiled and said, Amma will be back soon. I should go now, and walked away with a playful glance. Gopamma was meditating in the temple during the evening twilight. Saraswati, humming softly in a sweet tune, walked to and fro towards the temple several times. Gopamma noticed her restlessness and smiled knowingly. She understood the silent yearning of her daughter-in-law. Calling Saraswati over, she watched as the young bride eagerly ran to her like a deer. Did you call me, Amma? She asked. Gopamma, why are you wandering restlessly? Won't you serve Venkatanatha his milk and fruits? Saraswati, I was planning to give it to him after you left for Purana session, Amma. Gopamma checked. There is no Purana session today, dear. Hearing this, Saraswati's face fell. Oh, I didn't know, Amma, she murmured. Gopamma, come here, child, she said, gently calling her closer. Saraswati obediently stepped forward. Holding her hands, Gopamma pulled her near, stroking her back affectionately while smiling. Gopamma, Saraswati, you love your husband dearly, don't you? At this word, Saraswati's cheek turned crimson. She lowered her head and remained silent. Gopamma lifted Saraswati's chin gently. Tell me, dear, your very life breath is bound to your husband, isn't it? Saraswati, blushing, Amma, without realizing it, my heart is always drawn to him. Is it wrong to love him so much? Gopamma, joyfully embracing her daughter-in-law. Oh, my dear child, this is the natural virtue of a wife. The husband is a supreme deity to his wife, and her entire being is dedicated to his service. A wife's heart must always remain immersed in her husband. This is a sacred teaching of our Sanatana Dharma. A wife is not merely a companion for pleasure. She is a partner in all of her husband's endeavors, a co-traveler in his spiritual journey. During the wedding, the Vedic sages and elders ordained the wife to be equal in all aspects, dharma, artha, kama. That is why, at the time of marriage, the groom is commanded, dharmecha, arthecha, kamecha, naticharitram, tayayam, meaning, I am in righteousness, wealth, and love. She shall always be your equal companion. The marriage chariot moves on two wheels, the husband and wife. Only when they progress in harmony does the chariot of dharma reach its goal. That is why our scriptures proclaim Grihini Graham Uchate. A home is not a home without a wife. She is its very foundation, its soul. This is the esteemed position given to a wife in our tradition. A husband and wife's love shall be guided by this ideal. Only then does it become truly meaningful. Seeing your deep devotion to your husband fills my heart with immense joy. No matter the circumstances, happiness or sorrows, wealth or poverty, always remain his devout companion, serving him with boundless love and reverence. This is my heartfelt blessing and advice to you, dear child. Saraswati was deeply moved by every word her mother-in-law spoke. The wisdom, kindness, and boundless affection in Gopama's heart overwhelmed her. With tears of gratitude, Saraswati embraced Gopama, saying, Amma, you are truly noble in character. I am blessed to have a mother-in-law like you. She then bowed to Gopama's feet in reverence. Gopama's eyes too welled up with tears. Stroking Saraswati's head affectionately, she said, Foolish girl, how emotional you are. Saraswati, Venkatanatha is the very breath of my life. Your father-in-law and I performed great penance and received him as a boon from Lord Srinivasa. He is no ordinary man. He is a great soul. By holding his hand, you have indeed been blessed with immense fortune. I understood your longing when I saw your restlessness. Every wife naturally yearns for her husband's presence. It is only natural. You no longer need to wait for me to leave for the Purana session. Go now, dear, and serve your husband his milk and fruits. Saraswati bowed once again, her heart overflowing with love. Amma, I do not even know if my own mother loved me as much as you do. You are my true mother. I promise to follow the path you have shown me. Amma, one more thing. I wish to learn literature and veena from him. Will you speak to him on my behalf? Gopama smiled warmly. Of course, my dear. I will tell him myself. She laughed softly and sent Saraswati off to her husband's chamber before resuming her meditation. When Saraswati entered, she found Venkatanatha pacing the room with the Shatapatha Brahmana in his hands. Seeing her, he stopped and smirked. Oh, so Her Highness has finally found the time to arrive. Why so late? Saraswati smiled and replied playfully, I was delayed because I had to take Amma's permission before coming. Forgive me. Raising an eyebrow in mock curiosity, Venkatanatha asked, Oh, what did Amma say? Saraswati grinned. She loves me dearly. She thinks of you as the very breath of her life, and our happiness is all she desires. Today, she taught me how a husband and wife should live. And finally, she told me not to wait for her to leave for Purana sessions. She said, I should come to you whenever I wish. Venkatanatha smirked mischievously. So you reported everything we talked about to Amma, did you? Saraswati blushed and lowered her gaze, pretending to be offended, while her husband chuckled at her reaction. Saraswati chuckled softly. Don't be upset, my lord. Amma is sharp-witted. She understands everything, even without us telling her. She enjoys our conversation. I must have done great deeds in my past life to have such a wonderful mother-in-law. Venkatanatha smiled. Do you know what it means to have a mother like her? She is a divine being in human form. It makes me happy to see that you have earned her love. But you must always serve her with humility, obedience, and respect. Do you understand? Saraswati tilted her head playfully. I don't need you to tell me how to behave with my mother-in-law. She is my mother, and I am her daughter. There is no room for you between us. Venkatanatha laughed. Oh, is that so? And since when have you two become mother and daughter? Saraswati smiled sweetly. From the moment she taught me how to live happily with you. Venkatanatha smirked. All right. Let's see how long this lasts. Saraswati's eyes sparkled with conviction. For as long as I live, You won't be able to break the bond between us. Venkatanatha gazed at her fondly. Saras, today I'm truly happy. Saraswati raised an eyebrow mischievously. And what am I supposed to do about that? Venkatanatha chuckled. From now, just stay quiet. Saraswati teased. Why such anger? If you keep getting upset and teasing me like this, I will just refuse to tell you what Amma asked me to convey. Venkatanatha curiously puked. What did Amma ask? Blushing, Saraswati hid her face behind her hands and whispered. She said, she wants a grandson. Venkatanatha beamed with delight. See, Amma has more sense than you do. Saraswati playfully retorted, Oh, go on, Swami. You always find a way to tease me. Laughing, the couple then shared the fruits and milk, enjoying the sweetness of their love and compassion. After chewing the tambula, Venkatanatha passionately analyzed and explained the literary brilliance of Sri Sudindra Tirtharu's Subhadra Paranaya Dharma, detailing its aesthetic elements, poetic beauty, and philosophical depth. Saraswati, overjoyed, expressed a desire to read the play and learn more. She also conveyed her eagerness to master the veena. For the next day, Venkatanatha, delighted by her enthusiasm, began teaching her Subhadra Paranaya while also guiding her in veena practice. While her sharp intellect and dedication, Saraswati diligently pursued both studies. Within a few months, she not only completed the play but also displayed remarkable proficiency in playing veena. Their marital life flourished in harmony. Embodying the meaning, the wise spent their time immersed in literature and philosophy. One afternoon, as Venkatanatha sat in the courtyard conversing with his mother and wife, a learned scholar known to him arrived. He brought devastating news. The revered Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, Guruguru, had departed for heavenly abode. He had just returned from attending the grand Mahasamaradhana, that is, final rites and homage, and shared the details of the proceedings. The news struck like a thunderbolt, leaving the entire household in profound grief. Overcome with sorrow, Venkatanatha was utterly devastated. Tears streamed down his face as he recalled his Guru's immense scholarship, unwavering support for scholars, unparalleled kindness, and the deep faith he had placed in his disciples, especially in Venkatanatha's growth and success. He wept like a child, grieving the loss of his great mentor. Even Gopamma and Saraswati couldn't hold back their tears. Their hearts weighted down by the sorrowful void left by the Guru's departure. After a while, Gopamma comforted her son, attempting to console him. But Venkatanatha, still grief-stricken, said, We are now orphans, Mama. We must cleanse ourselves, offer our respects to our revered Guru, and dedicate this night to his memory with fasting, scripture recitation, veena recitals, and bhajans as a tribute. The entire household took ritualistic baths. Venkatanatha, observing austerity, engaged in the recitation of Bhagavad Gita, mantras, and hymns. That night, alongside his mother and wife, he played the veena and led devotional songs composed by great enlightened saints, immersing himself in the divine remembrance. The next day, after performing their morning rituals, ablutions, sandhyavandana, japa, and deva puja, they partook in the meals. As time passed, the pain of Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu Guru's departure began to settle, though the deep respect and love for him remained unshaken. Thus, months passed as life gradually resumed its course. One day, Venkatanatha's father-in-law, Vasudevacharya's cousin, Keshavacharya, arrived and invited them to celebrate Deepavali at their house. After consulting with his mother, Venkatanatha set out joyfully with his mother and wife. Upon arrival, they were delighted to find that his elder brother, sister-in-law, and nephew, Venkatanarayana, had also come for Ramachandrapura. The reunion, after a long time, filled everyone with immense joy. Vasudevacharya and his wife were overjoyed to see their son-in-law and daughter. The grand Deepavali celebration lasted for 5 days, after which they bade farewell to their son-in-law with great affection. From there, Venkatanatha and his family spent 4 days at his elder brother's house before seeking permission and headed towards Kumbakonam. Upon reaching Kumbakonam, they first bathed in Kaveri river and then proceeded to the Vrindavana, that is memorial shrine of Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu. The moment Venkatanatha saw the Vrindavana, tears streamed down his face as he grieved. Gurudeva, you have left us orphaned and joined the divine feet of Hari. Who will guide us now? After some time, when his sorrow had slightly subsided, he circumambulated the Brindavana, offered his salutations and received the sacred water, that is Padodaka, and blessed rice, Mantrakshita, from the temple priest. They then proceeded to Shri, the monastery. By then, the first meal of the day had already concluded. Seeing Venkatanatha, Narsimha Acharya warmly welcomed him and arranged for their meal. After the meal, he took them to meet Sri Sudhindra Tirtharu. Upon seeing Venkatanatha, the Guru warmly welcomed him, saying, "Come, Acharya." Venkatanatha prostrated before the Guru and expressed his sorrow over the passing of Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu, shedding tears as he spoke. Tears welled up in Sri Sudhindra Tirtharu's eyes as well. The great luminary of Dvaita Siddhanta has set. We have lost an irreplaceable scholar. Above all, we have become orphans, but it was God's will, and we have no choice but to accept it, he lamented. Sri Sudhindra Tirtharu then shared, "Even on the day before his passing, your revered Guru was speaking about you. He wished for you to study under me, to be established as a great scholar of our institution, and to restart the Vidyapita, that is seat of learning, and Kaveri Pattanam under your leadership. He had instructed us to entrust this responsibility to you." Saying this, he handed Venkatanatha a pouch containing 1,000 varahas, that is gold coins. Venkatanatha was taken aback and humbly asked, "What is this, Gurudeva?" The Guru replied, "This is the Guru's command, your annual stipend as a chief scholar." Venkatanatha with great humility responded, "Your divine blessings are all I seek." But Sri Sudhindra Tirtharu insisted, "It is the Guru's will, and it is our duty to honor it. Accept this as Guru Prasada, a sacred offering from the Guru." Venkatanatha respectfully bowed and accepted it. They continued discussing various matters for a long time, after which the Guru instructed Pandit Narsimha Acharya to arrange for Venkatanatha's journey to Kaveri Pattanam. The next morning, Narsimha Acharya hosted Venkatanatha at his house, provided them an early meal, and then arranged for their departure in the Matha carriage. Thus, with the blessings of his Guru and the weight of great responsibility upon him, Venkatanatha embarked on his journey to Kaveri Pattanam. Hari Om. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.